I watched the 16th episode the other night. It was very good, very creepy, very disturbing. How did you get involved with the project?
Well, I actually have been wanting to act since childhood, and my background's really in broadcast news and film and post-production. And in 2016, I really just decided to kind of go full force with acting, and I started, auditioning for everything from commercials to industrial, you name it, short film. And when I saw the synopsis it was Backstage, I saw this synopsis, and I was totally intrigued by it. So I reached out, and Jerome Oliver, he sent me the script, and I read it, and, of course, I loved it. And honestly, that was the first time I heard of Jerome. So I watched his films, and I was just blown away by his art. I'm somebody who really loves film because of the fact that it is a visual medium.
Okay.
And so it's and so telling stories through, using mise en scène to me is like the ultimate, And I was like, okay, I definitely want to work with Jerome. This script is I definitely resonate with Helen's character in many ways, and just the themes that he explored in the story was like, wow, okay, I got to be a part of it. And I just went ahead and applied, submitted.
Cool. Were you involved with the screenplay, with the screenwriting process?
There was some rewrites. There was some interesting, we were it wasn't very dialogue heavy, and the dialogue that you see that's there on screen really was a lot of improv between me and my co-stars. I mean, we were really given that latitude to kind of, free range to play. And after really getting acquainted with one another, that was easy to do because we really just, took what we established as a relationship off set, and we brought that to the set, and I think that it served us well.
Yeah.
So in that sense, we did write and provide a lot of improv.
Cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Nice. Now, are you a big horror buff?
I am. My father, my mom was always on him about letting us watch horror films since we were very young. We saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I was pretty young. I want to say 8 or 10.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I remember walking up to my grandma's living room. I must have been 8 when Stanley Kubrick, Clockwork Orange was playing on HBO late one night, and I was just, stopped me right in my tracks.
That's awesome.
And, yeah. So for me to actually get to be in a horror film now is just awesome. Dream come true, really.
That's cool. I'm curious. This seemed like a very physical role, very demanding role. What were some challenges you faced on set?
I think the biggest challenge for me was I've always had a fear of heights. And the scene where I'm on the ceiling, that called for me. That wasn't a stunt double. That's me up there on that ceiling. And I'll tell you, when I was rigged up there, I was looking down below, and I noticed a porcelain tub, and I'm like, and I see the cracks in the paint in the wall right in front of me, and my mind just went unraveled for a minute and started going everywhere, thinking, oh my God, this wall's gonna crack. I'm gonna come undone. I'm gonna fall and bust my head open on the porcelain tub below. And,
oh my God!
And then so I just went into some serious meditation, breathing techniques, and focused on this square tile in front of me, so that I was able to really put myself into that scene and do the work, because otherwise I was just going crazy on literally climbing walls.
Oh my God! So it was pretty much genuine terror. There wasn't just acting right there. It was real.
Oh, I used real genuine terror throughout that whole thing. Going to a different country I've never been to, speaking a language I don't speak, French or Arabic, and just really, I think every one of us were kind of paranoid and had our conspiracy theories about why we were there, and it worked. I feel like that was definitely that eeriness present in the film, and that's
nice. Yeah, it definitely seemed very, very real. So that's pretty cool, and that contributes to the found footage genre. So bravo with that.
Thank you so much.
Are you a fan of the found footage genre?
You know, I've watched some of the movies, and I can't even think of a title right now, and they're cool, but I've never been so interested in the way that he's kind of turned that genre on, you know, some of the tropes, played with some of those tropes, and but it's kind of like on both sides of it. It was like a horror movie within a horror movie with,
yeah.
gosh, I want to say within another horror movie.
Very
but,
meta.
Yes, definitely. So to me, I'm like, now I'm just even more intrigued with that genre, and like, how do you do it? How do you do it and do it well, and without doing it the same over and over again? It's a very hard niche to kind of to do that in. So I think that Jerome did it well. You know,
nice.
I didn't feel like it was just another non-footage film. There were so many things and serious messages and themes that were explored, and the fact that it's a social commentary, and it's so poignant today with everybody. Everybody's always wanted to be a filmmaker, I think, but now with the media, now with having the devices, the electronic devices, and all of the resources that available at everybody's hands, we're seeing more and more of this.
Yeah. I'm curious.
You know,
yeah, I'm curious. Do you plan to act in more things, or are you? What are you working on now? Is there anything you could talk about?
I am. You know, I do want to act, but for me, I want to direct and produce feature films. And for me, the missing role, why I haven't done that yet, was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to direct the way that I want to direct until I know what it's like to be directed. And that's like was the missing piece. You know, I have years of experience. I went to college. I went to grad school. I worked with a lot of great filmmakers. I've developed my own projects.
Nice.
But didn't have that confidence I felt that I needed as a director to really step onto set, because I felt like I really needed to know what it is to be a vulnerable, you know, talent in front of the camera, being directed, so that I know how to work with actors. And so that experience, to me, I think is really going to be what, you know, pushes me into my career as a filmmaker, as a producer and director. And I'm developing a biopic, actually. It's a psychothriller, and I'm developing it with a screenwriter by the name of Pablo Montes. We went to Chapman Film School together. Okay. And as well as some documentaries that have been brewing for quite some time. One deals with the murder of my uncle, Ruben De Leon, who was murdered in 2004 in a case of a mistaken identity. They had the case pulled, but it's actually an active investigation today. And I'm also developing a documentary on homelessness as well as the juvenile justice.
Wow, pretty heavy stuff there.
A lot of heavy stuff, so it's hard to really juggle all of this. And so it's been a really long trek for me, especially I feel like I'm going down a very linear path. Yeah. And I've done it so long. A lot of the stuff that I've done by myself. And now I feel like in the past couple of years I've developed very really healthy and professional relationships in the industry. And I think that I've, you know, just met so many great people that I can work with. Nice. That I think that we're going to finally get to see some great stories come to fruition on my end, on my part. And I'm looking forward to that. Sure. That's great.
So you obviously you prefer wearing the director and the producer hat as opposed to the actor hat.
Yeah, because I just want to have so much. I want to be involved with the actual performance of the actors, and I really want to have my hands on more things with, like, even from the development side of just putting together the pitch deck and knowing, like, okay, before I hire a costume designer or before I hire an art director, I kind of want to. I know visually what I want beforehand, and so being able to kind of really explore that on my own, I feel like is the joy of it all, you know, nice. And that's where I really want to get into and really have fun with, you know, cool. Writing, casting, and all of that. I'm really excited to do this my next project for that very reason.
I'm excited too. It's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I'm curious. What filmmakers have inspired your craft?
Oh, that's a really good question. Definitely, there's quite a few. When it comes to documentary, I'm going to have to say Errol Morris. I'm
Okay.
a huge fan of The Thin Blue Line, and I
Okay.
just like that raw story, you know, investigative, journalistic type of documentary storytelling, filmmaking. And then when it comes to narratives, of course, you know, I don't want to be cliche, but I love Kubrick too.
Nice.
Yeah, he's amazing, and not just because he's such a great storyteller and visionary, but just like his the history of like how he became to be a filmmaker. I mean, he started out as a still photographer for, you know, print journalism and in New York, and he struggled, and he never gave up. I mean, I believe he was receiving welfare and living in Brooklyn, and I mean, that's got to be really tough right there. You know, I know it's hard to make it in LA, but it's not easy in Brooklyn and on welfare. And he did it, you know, and that to me, I just admire him for that, because I know it's a hard thing to work in the film industry, but to see somebody do it and like come up from nothing to do it on his own, like, it's something that it could be done.
Very inspirational,
Yeah, for sure.
What are some of your favorite Kubrick films?
Oh gosh, it's definitely Clockwork Orange. It's amazing. the commentary on society and everything, and just how juvenile delinquency. I love it. And of course, the use of music and the
the use of Beethoven in that is brilliant.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Most definitely. And all his movies are like two movies in one. You know? Full Metal Jacket. You know.
Right.
Wow.
I know, and they're so different in tone too. It's like you got this boot camp horror story, and then you have a kind of a comical war picture, like lumped together. It's amazing. It's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome. He was able to accomplish a lot in his time with the Sixers, and that's just what I hope to do. Because I mean, that's what it's about: telling meaningful stories that people will remember for forever. You know, they're going to be around. And really tell our future generations a lot about our society. So that's what they are, right? I believe film is really just like archives of what is of today in our society.
That's what a good film is supposed to do. It's supposed to transport you, not necessarily to like a fantastical sci-fi world, but to transport you to a world that you've never seen before. And you definitely see that in the 16th episode, I think. So, job well done.
Oh. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, what exactly do you hope audiences take away from the film?
I hope that they realize that, I mean, like, sometimes we can easily get caught up and sidetracked with something. I mean, like, those are some of the things I think that are explored, is like depression and temptation and these kind of things. And, like, when we're passionate about something, and it could be, you know, being a YouTuber trying to, you know, get your views, or it could be a plethora of other things, but sometimes we become so obsessed with whatever it is that we're trying to achieve that we forget about what's going on around us, and that's how we can easily get sidetracked or just lose sight of what's really important.
Okay, cool. Well, the film is great. Tell everyone, how can they see the film?
Well, actually, you can pre-order it. It is available on the 28th. You can pre-order on iTunes. It will be in theaters in Seattle, Houston, Dallas, Texas. Houston and Dallas is in Texas, and then LA and Detroit. And it'll also be available on demand on the 28th. Sweet.
Well, Rebecca, I want to thank you for your time today. This was awesome. And, let me just extend an invitation to the show. We broadcast in Long Island, New York. If you're ever in the area, we'd love to maybe have you stop by for an in-person interview.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Randy.